There is a valley in Norway where something extraordinary has been happening for over a century. Not occasionally, not rarely, repeatedly, consistently, documented by scientists, photographed by researchers, measured by instruments. And after 100 years of investigation, not one person on Earth has been able to explain what it is. The Hessdalen Valley, central Norway. A quiet, remote stretch of Scandinavian wilderness surrounded by mountains and forests. The kind of place that feels ancient, the kind of place that feels watched. And since at least the 1930s, lights have been appearing in this valley that defy every natural explanation mankind has ever proposed. Not the aircrafts, not reflections from nearby towns, not the northern lights. These are distinct luminous objects, sometimes white, sometimes yellow, sometimes a deep pulsing red, that hover, dart, divide into multiple lights, merge back together, and vanish without a trace. Sometimes for minutes, sometimes for hours. In the early 1980s, the sightings intensified dramatically. Local residents were reporting the lights up to 20 times per week. The scientific community could no longer ignore it. In 1984, a team of researchers descended on the valley with dot cameras, radar equipment, spectrum analyzers, and magnetometers. What they found stopped them completely. The lights were real, physically real. The instruments confirmed it. These were not optical illusions, not weather phenomena, not reflections. The lights were generating their own electromagnetic fields. They were returning radar signals. They were physically present objects that science had no category for. Some of the lights have been clocked moving at over 30,000 kilometers per hour. Others have hovered completely motionless for hours at a time, defying gravity with no visible means of support. Some have been observed dividing into two separate lights, moving independent, then merging back into one. No known natural phenomenon behaves this way. In 1998, a permanent scientific monitoring station was established in the valley. Project Hessdalen, an international collaboration of universities and research institutions from Norway, Italy, and beyond. The station has been running continuously for over 25 years. Cameras recording, instruments measuring, scientists watching, and the lights have continued to appear undisturbed and unexplained. Over the decades, researchers have proposed numerous natural explanations. Ionized gas from the valley's unique geology, piezoelectric effects from the crystalline rock beneath the surface, plasma formations caused by atmospheric conditions, combustion of hydrogen and oxygen trapped in the terrain. Every single explanation has been tested. Every single one has fallen short. None of the proposed explanations account for all observed behaviors. None explain the radar returns. None explain the electromagnetic fields. None explain the speeds. None explain the hovering. None explain the dividing and merging. The lights simply do not fit into any natural category that science currently possesses. Consider what the data actually shows. These lights have been appearing in the same valley for at least 90 years. They respond to no known trigger. They follow no predictable pattern. They have been observed by hundreds of credible witnesses, including scientists, engineers, pilots, and military personnel. And the world's best instruments have confirmed they are physically real. In 2014, Italian researchers published a study suggesting the lights may be caused by a natural plasma phenomenon. Clouds of ionized gas formed by the unique mineral composition of the valley's rocks interacting with the atmosphere. It was the most detailed natural explanation ever proposed. Other scientists reviewed it and still found it insufficient to explain everything being observed. What makes Hessdalen uniquely powerful is that it is not a story of one sighting, not 2, not 10. The Project Hessdalen database contains thousands of documented observations spanning decades, photographs, video recordings, radar data, electromagnetic readings, a mountain of evidence pointing to something real, and a mountain of unanswered questions about what that something is. God created a world full of wonders that humanity is still discovering. A world where light can appear from nowhere and hover above an ancient Norwegian valley for a century without explanation, where instruments can confirm that something is there, physically present and measurable, while the greatest scientific minds admit they cannot explain what it is. Perhaps the Hessdalen lights are a natural phenomenon we simply do not yet have the tools to understand. Perhaps they are something else entirely. What we know with certainty is this: they are real. They have been real for over a century, and the valley keeps its secret as faithfully today as it did the first night they appeared. In a world where we can map the human genome and land robots on Mars, in a world where we carry the sum of human knowledge in our pockets, a quiet valley in Norway is still producing lights that no one can explain. That humility, that reminder of how much we do not know, is itself a kind of gift. Because every unexplained thing in creation points to the same truth, that the mind which designed this universe is infinitely greater than the minds trying to understand it, that the God who placed lights in that Norwegian sky knows exactly what they are even when we do not, and perhaps that is exactly the point. The Hessdalen Valley, Norway. 100 years of lights, thousands of documented sightings, decades of scientific investigation, 0 explanations. The lights are still appearing tonight, and somewhere in that ancient valley between the mountains and the sky, God's creation is still reminding us how extraordinary and how mysterious this world truly is. What do you think could be the cause? Let me know in the comments. Can you do me a favor and like the video so it can be pushed out to more people who need to see this? One last thing. Subscribe.